I cheated on my long-term boyfriend, he ghosted me and got married in his country. I 28F and my BF 32M were in relationship for 6 years. Dated for 2 years and moved in together. He is a doctor and from India. He came to my country and works in a reputed hospital. He works long hour. Every day he pretty much came home, have small talks and go to sleep. In weekends we would go to dates and spend time with each other. We hardly had once a week for past 6 months. I brought that matter with him. He apologized and said he is really having hard time in hospital and said he will work through it. 2 months before I went to my hometown and he was against it. We argued and got into fight. Nonetheless, I was dead set on to attend the wedding. It was marriage of one of my childhood best friend. He argued about attending wedding involving many people may be a bad idea amidst of pandemic, but I really needed a break and moreover it was a small wedding of around 50 to 60 people. On wedding day I had some drinks and I regret to say, but I slept with one of my former classmates. There were no emotional connection, just pure physical thing. I regretted a lot on next day, but I didn't want it to ruin my long-term relationship so I hid it from him, but somehow he found it. We got into fight where we insulted each other. He called me worst imaginable names to me. He broke up and kicked me out. I moved into my friend's place. I tried to contact him after giving him some space, but he won't respond to my calls or texts. I tried to go to his flat after a week but it was locked. I called his friends who told me he went to his home country for emergency and was also informed that he won't be able to respond to anyone. After a month of trying to contact him, I was able to get hold of him. He just said that his family was looking for a bride for him since a long time, but he said he was not ready for marriage. And when we broke up he went to his home country and topic of marriage was brought up again. But this time he didn't even refuse. He just went along with his family and got married. And he wants to get settled in India. He even said that his now wife is also a doctor and her family owns a hospital, so from now on he will be joining the same hospital and he won't return to my country. After that he blocked me on everything. I am at loss now. I know I cheated, I own it to that mistake, but he literally threw away our years of relationship and got married to some girl who we know for 2 months. I have been crying mess. Please help me. Story 2. How can I know if this woman 54 female has feelings for me 26 male, or she's just being nice? I moved to this town when I was 23, because it's closer to my university. When she met me, she made cookies for me and invited me over to her place to get to know me. I thought that was very sweet and I appreciated it. We didn't talk for a few months. No particular reason, I was just busy, leaving home early in the morning and studying in the afternoon, but we keep saying hello to each other. At some point, I invited her to my apartment and had a cup of coffee with her. I needed to and asked her for something to give me. She literally started saying, "You're really starting to look like a man. You used to look like a boy a few years ago. Dean, you're a hot guy. No, really, you're hot. I don't want to brag about this, but I've always been considered good-looking and I had girls approaching me in high school different times. So this is not something I'm not used to, but I maybe wasn't manly enough for a woman her age when she first met me. She always looks very happy when she sees me, and she sometimes tells me to have lunch with her. She has complimented my looks very often. She says, 'Your parents did a very good job. Look what they created.' 2 months ago, I was given a small part in a movie. I just had to walk past the characters. The movie hasn't been released yet. On the background, and again, she said, 'You could become an actor with your looks. Never say never.' She doesn't compliment me every day, but she sounds very determined when she does. She sometimes asks me to talk walks with her. Also, to be honest, I've sometimes asked for advice from her. She's way older than me and I kind of find her reassuring at times. She always says, 'You can talk to me every time you need advice,' which makes the relationship sound very friendly, but at the same time, last week she jokingly hugged me because the weather was too cold, then grabbed my chin and said, 'You look so good.' While she's not ugly at all, I don't find her beautiful either. But she's a sweet woman and very generous. I'm starting to develop feelings. I ain't madly in love, but I find her way more attractive than pretty girls who have nothing to offer. I like her. She has a son my age though. He's 2 years younger. I've realized the situation might sound very easy from the way I described it, But it isn't. All these things have happened over the past 3 years. We can go days without talking to each other, and she never talks to me when her son is around. Or she does talk to me sometimes, but she keeps me at a distance. I don't understand whether she simply doesn't want her son to think she's attracted to me, or she's really trying to hide that, and that's why her behavior changes when her son is around. Story 3. My 36 male best friend, 35 male of 10 plus years, found out about my feelings for him, and he's mad at me for hiding it. We had a fight and he's been avoiding me since. Okay, so first of all, yes, I'm a 36-year-old man who still writes stuff in his diary. The thing is that I hate confrontation. I have trouble making my feelings clear, and therefore I sometimes have pent-up anger when I can't get those feelings out. So when I was 24, my therapist suggested I start writing stuff in a journal/diary, as writing can be quite therapeutic, and honestly I like doing it. I don't update it daily. But if something big happens, good or bad, I mention it in my diary anyway. Coming to the point, I met my best friend, Ryan, generic fake name, during my first year of residency, and we just clicked. Since then we did our residency together, worked in different cities for a while, and recently he moved to my city, and we are currently living in the same building, though on different floors. He's my best friend, and over time I developed feelings for him. Never did or said anything BC, he never showed any interest. And neither did I have any expectations. I was just happy to be a part of his life BC. He's genuinely a great human being, and I thought if friendship is all he can offer, it'll be enough. Except, a couple of years ago, he was in a very serious relationship with a nice girl, and he told me he loved her. I was happy. But later I got drunk and poured my heart out in the diary, whining about how I was tired of pretending to be happy for him, and I wish if he would love me. I read it in the morning, and honestly, I was ashamed of being so bitter about him being happy. So since then, I've tried to move on, tried dating. There was this one girl I really liked, but she didn't feel it, so she dumped me. There was another guy I was in a relationship with, but he was a bit of a seed, so I dumped him. Anyway, Ryan and his girlfriend amicably broke up a few months ago. Forward to Monday. I had a terrible day at work, and I just wanted to vent in my diary. So I did, and left it in the kitchen. Ryan has keys to my apartment, and he needed something, so he came across the diary. He knew about it. He knows about most of the stuff I write in it. So while I was mad about him reading it, I get why he thought it wasn't a big deal, as we have zero secrets. Well, except this huge one. I wasn't at home, and when I came back, he was furious. Said he couldn't believe that I would hide it from him for so long, that he couldn't believe how I helped him get the ring for his girlfriend, that what kind of person would knowingly put himself through that. I said that I just wanted to be a good friend, and then he *****ing said it. He said that he had a crush on me and that he was livid about me not saying anything about it. We could have been together for all of these years but weren't. That's when I lost my cool and called him a hypocrite if he expects me to say something but didn't say anything himself. He started crying and said that BC he was the confused one and BC I was the more experienced one. I should have said something. That he was scared, and though he does regret not saying anything, all he needed was one little push, and hates that I didn't give it to him. Then he left, and I haven't seen him since. I feel empty. This man has given me so much love and treated me with so much kindness, and while I don't feel guilty for not saying anything, I did what I thought was right for me and our friendship. I'm heartbroken BC given his rough upbringing. I can't imagine how alone he must have felt dealing with those feelings. My mom is the kind of mom who would burn the world for me, and even still, when I was dealing with I had this voice in my head telling me that it's only a matter of time when my mom will throw me out. She didn't. He turned out to be the kind human being he is today. Only BC of his mom and stepdad. His dad took a real toll on him as a kid. So I'm on Reddit asking for advice. BC 1, he's not on Reddit, and even if he is, I don't care. BC 2, honestly, I'm clueless, and since my other best friend and her husband, who's also a good friend, are currently dealing with her mom's death, and my mom, well, she worries too much, so if I want to bother her, I don't have anyone else to talk to, except internet strangers. He agreed to talk in a couple of days, but what do I say? I still have feelings for him. I think he does too, but I don't know if being in a relationship with him is a good idea, despite wanting it for more than 10 years.